saying that this dude, kind of. I'm saying that this dude made the Pro Bowl over, three running backs that are better than him?
I'll give it Joe Mixon's better than him. Who could have made the Pro Bowl?
Did Chubb not make the Pro Bowl?
Kareem Hunt not making the Pro Bowl is fair.
Okay, yeah, because he is on drugs and weed. But,
no, because he was suspended for half the season.
Because he's on drugs and weed.
Because he kicked a woman.
Okay.
On live TV, well, not on live TV, but it was on TV.
Camera.
Coming up next, Kareem Hunt kicks a woman? What?
But, yeah, I mean, I don't like the man at all. I don't like anything he stands for. I don't even know what he stands for. I just don't like the dude.
You don't even like hyping up Lamar Jackson?
It sounds like you have a little bit of bias, Jack.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't like him, so I'm being biased against him, and I think he's overrated. And the Browns. He's ruined my life.
He's ruined your life.
Yes.
Because the Browns would have done so good, even though they beat the Ravens once already that season.
Okay, but they should have beat them the second time.
No, they shouldn't have.
Okay, all right, whatever. We'll move on to our predictions. This is a pretty exciting part we have here. So how we're going to do this is, how do you guys want to do this? Do you want to go team by team, each of us, or do you want to...
Let's go from 32 up.
What? Oh, you did power rankings. You did actual power rankings.
No, I also did other teams, or what do you want to do?
I did division, so I did it by division.
I'll go by division.
All right.
So we're doing records?
So no, I mean I didn't feel like looking at the schedule, so I just kind of did it in a certain order. So we'll start off with the AFC East. You guys talk about the AFC East first. I'll be right back. I'll be in the bathroom.
All right. So, I mean, I think it's pretty obvious that the Bills are probably going to win the AFC East this year.
Me too.
I think that the Patriots actually are going to have a pretty good season, but not good enough to beat the Bills. I think the Bills are going to run away with this division. Because, I mean, the AFC East was never a strong division, even when the Patriots were in their prime, because they were the only good team in the division. The Dolphins, I mean, they're going to be better than they were last year, but not good enough to get higher than probably third place in this division. Because, I mean, I'm predicting the Patriots to go like 8-8, just because their coaching is so good, and their defense has not taken a hit at all by Tom Brady leaving. So I still think they're going to be a very good team.
Yeah, I'm going Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets, in descending order.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
That's exactly what I put.
Because the thing about the Jets is, yes, they have a lot of good players returning, and they're going to have C.J. Mosley back, but they're still coached by Adam Gase. And, I mean, as long as you have a bad coach, you're not going to be a good team.
Yeah. So, next up, we have the AFC North. I will do this one. So, in first place, I have the Cleveland Browns.
You're kidding.
No, I'm not kidding.
Okay.
The Browns, like Danny said earlier, as his dark horse for the Super Bowl. I do think they will win the division this year. I think Lamar Jackson will have an off year. I think he'll kind of...
Why do you think that?
I just kind of think he'll have a sophomore slump, if you know what I mean, even though it's his third year. We saw Baker have a very good first year, and then when all the hype came his way, he kind of disintegrated.
I think that was more because of coaching and the lack of an offensive line.
But you can't put a young guy like that under so much pressure like that. And
hey, Mahomes did it. Brady did it.
All right, I'll give you Brady, but Mahomes was already so good.
So was Lamar Jackson.
I don't know.
What are we talking about?
No. Lamar did not choke, or Mahomes never choked in the playoffs.
Who are we talking about?
I agree.
We're talking about Lamar. Lamar choked in the playoffs, and I see how Lamar did play in his last game. I think that teams know how to stop him now, and will be able to stop him. Even though they have an easy schedule, I think the Browns will be double-digit wins. I see them winning 10, 11 games just because they have to play the worst division in the NFL, and then they're in the weak AFC North.
Do you think the AFC North is the worst division in the NFL?
No, they play the NFC East.
Oh.
This
well, so do the Ravens.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think the Browns will be an 11-win team.
I see them going like 9-7. I think the Ravens are going to win the division again. Just because, I mean, yeah, Lamar Jackson, he may take a step back, but I still think they're going to be good. Because it's not about choking in the playoffs. Whoever wins the division based off your performance in the regular season.
That is true. I'll give you that. But I still have the Ravens.
I think the Browns will come in second place in the division.
Do you think they'll make the playoffs?
I think they'll be a wild card team.
All right.
Especially with the extension of the wild card.
Yeah. So you did do the 7.
I think the Browns will win the Steelers. I was saying the Browns will win the division only because I think Lamar is going to get hurt.
If Lamar gets hurt, the Browns probably will win the division. Yeah. Because RG3 is their backup, and let's face it, they don't have a third-string quarterback that's good enough to...
RG3 entered free agency, so...
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so they don't have a backup.
Duck Hodges signed Duck Hodges. He beat the Browns. That's how bad
last year was
we lost to freaking Duck Hodges.
I mean, that's because of Freddie Kitchens. I mean, let's face it.
That
guy's a
That's
joke.
so depressing. All right, so I'll move on to third place. I have the Bengals.
Jack, the entire last 20 years of the Browns is depressing.
Yeah, that's true. So, third place, I have the Bengals, led by, I hope, Joe Burrow. I really hope they don't mess this up. I would totally take everything.
Why would you want a team in your own division to succeed?
That's true. No, because that would be imagine if Joe Burrow doesn't get taken over number 1 overall.
He should be happy he doesn't have to go to Cincinnati.
That is true. And go to, what, the Redskins instead?
Probably Miami.
No. I wouldn't see.
Or maybe the Chargers would trade up for him. I would have no problem playing for the Chargers.
Yeah. All right, but I just think the Bengals are a better team than the Steelers.
Yeah, but Ben's going to be back next year.
What'd you say?
Ben's going to be back next year.
I think it goes.
Well, Big Ben's washed up. Big Ben's washed up.
I agree he's never going to be the same quarterback again after that injury, combined with the age. But I still think they're going to be a good team just because of the coaching. And I have it going Ravens, Browns, Steelers, Bengals. But
I have Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals.
There are a lot of people that have the Steelers winning the division. And I don't know if that's just because they like the Steelers or not. But I don't see, even though how much I hate the Steelers, I don't see them being good this year, and I do see the Bengals being better than them.
I see the Steelers being like an 8-9 win team this year.
I could see that. Hopefully that's not the case.
I mean, I think that the Browns will split with both the Steelers and the Ravens this year.
Yeah.
And even though they have Joe Burrow, I think the Browns should probably sweep the Bengals.
It's going to be one of the hardest divisions in the league, but it's going to be fun.
It always is.
Yeah. Well, because it's always close. That's why it's so hard to be a Browns fan, because whenever you watch a game against the Steelers or the Ravens, it's close until the end. They just, Corey Coleman wanted me, I don't even know. That made me so mad, dude.
Anyway, before Jack goes off on another rant, this isn't a Browns podcast, it's an NFL podcast. We should probably go to the AFC South at this point.
Yeah, let's go to the AFC
South.
Alright, so, winning the AFC South, I do not have the Houston Texans. I have the Indianapolis Colts.
I have the Titans.
I have the Titans as well. That's
I didn't even think of the Titans. Titans, yeah.
Then secondly, I actually have the Jaguars in second.
Why do you think they'll be good?
I think that they'll have a really good draft with that number 9 pick, and then I think they could trade to get a second round pick or get some defense. I think Derek Brown we had them drafting Derek Brown in that draft. So
wait, the Titans?
No, the Jaguars.
Yeah, they drafted Derek Brown. in
Yeah.
our mock
So
draft.
I see them being really good next year. And then third, I have the Colts. I just don't think they'll be very good this year.
Here's the thing about the Colts, and here's why I think they're going to win the division. The Colts went 8-8 last year, something like that.
I think they went 6-10.
And they had Jacoby Brissett at quarterback.
Yeah.
Now they have Phillip Rivers at quarterback. They literally had a team built to win the Super Bowl, and then Andrew Luck was like, bye. So
He said I'm out cheap.
all they really needed was a quarterback. And I understand that's what we said about the Jags 2 years ago when Blake Bortles kind of fell off the rails and they signed Nick Foles for a ridiculous contract. But the thing is, the difference between Phillip Rivers and Nick Foles is that Nick Foles is overrated and that Phillip Rivers is underrated. And, Rivers the last couple of years, he had a pretty bad offensive line with Los Angeles. I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it was pretty mediocre. The Indianapolis Colts have one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. They have a good coach, they have a good offensive system, and they have a fantastic defense. And that's why I think they're going to win that division.
All right. Yeah, that's a good pick. I would agree with you.
But I can definitely see why you picked the Titans.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good pick as well.
Yeah. And then actually in last place I have the Texans. I don't see the Texans. I see the Texans going. I see Deshaun Watson having the worst year of his career.
I mean, yeah, I understand they traded DeAndre Hopkins for nothing, but I mean, the wide receiver isn't.
It was for David Johnson.
Stop happening.
A torn
I mean,
ACL.
they already have Carlos Hyde and Duke Johnson. Why do they even need a third ring? You know what? I'm not even going to go off on a rant on.
You know what? No,
Dude, they have two other running backs. What are they doing?
They traded
Duke Johnson's going to get traded again.
I mean, that's what you need.
But yeah, I mean,
So
the thing about the Texans is that they still have a good defense. Deshaun Watson's still a good quarterback. They don't have an elite wide receiver anymore. But other than wide receiver, they basically have everything that they need to be a good team. So, yeah, for my AFC South, I have Colts, Titans, Texans, Jags.
I have Titans, Colts, Texans, Jags.
I have. Oh, there it is. Titans, Jaguars, Colts, and Texans. All right, so we'll move on to the AFC West. I think this is a pretty obvious division.
Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs. Depending on whether you have the Chargers placing this year, I know Danny has him second, I think.
I have him second, yeah.
Yeah. So
I think the Broncos are going to come in second place.
Yeah, that's where I had the Broncos this year.
I think Drew Lock is a pretty underrated quarterback as well.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with Jack on that. I think Vic Fangio is a good coach. I understand they lost Chris Harris, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. To the Chargers.
To the Chargers, yeah.
All right.
But
Melvin Gordon?
They got Melvin Gordon. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty tight in the AFC West. I don't think anyone other than the Chiefs will make the playoffs. But, I mean...
Well, you know
Bradley
It's going to be pretty tight between the Broncos and the Chiefs. The reason why... Not the Chiefs, the Chargers. The reason why I'm taking the Broncos over the Chargers is because the Chargers, they basically play 16 away games a year because of the terrible fan base they have out in Los Angeles. They should have never moved from San Diego. And Tyrod Taylor is currently their starting quarterback.
Well, you know what, guys? I haven't ranked as my second one because I think that Tyrod Taylor can take this team from Phillip Rivers' team to his team and be the best. No, I'm just kidding. I have them because I think their defense is going to carry them.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think whoever they draft can definitely help out, but their defense might as well be their entire team. I mean, Melvin Ingram, Joey Bosa, Derwin James, Chris Harris, Linval Joseph. I mean, the biggest guy in the... I mean, that guy's wingspan is insane. He's huge. I don't think you can face that, especially with the Chiefs' offensive line being not as great as it should be.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And then we all have Vegas in last.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the NFC. So first, the NFC East. I have the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Redskins, and I do not want to talk about this division because it is so boring.
I have Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Redskins.
I have the same thing as Danny.
I think the Jerry Jones Club will come on top this year.
Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, Redskins. All right. Yeah, I have Eagles.
Yawn.
Why the Eagles? They're old.
I just think that Cowboys are not in a good place right now, and I think
They don't have Jason Garrett anymore. They have an actual head coach.
They have Mike McCarthy.
So I think that's what's going to push them to win the division. They're still going to go like 10-6 though.
Yeah. It's still the worst league, or the worst division. I swear, if the Browns lose a single game out of that division, I will not watch them.
Do we face the entire division?
Huh?
Yeah, we do.
We face the entire division.
Honestly, I could see them losing to the Cowboys because I honestly predict right now that that's going to be the Thanksgiving game. I think it's going to be Browns-Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And
I don't think it can be.
It can be, yeah.
I'd be excited about that. That'd be fun.
That would be fun, but I don't know. I just feel like we would lose that game.
Do we lose the entire AFC South, too?
No, we play the... Wait. Yes, we do play the AFC South this year.
And that DeAndre Hopkins thing was huge for us, too. But this is not a Browns podcast. It's an NFL podcast.
We'll
do a Browns podcast later.
Yeah.
We'll have to reserve an episode just for the Browns.
All right.
Because I think we all have a lot to say about the Browns.
Yeah. So now we go to the NFC North. And I think the Bears are going to come on top this year.
No.
And then the Packers and the Vikings and then the Lions. I think we can all. No, Brendan, you picked the Vikings. That's right, as your dark horse.
I did. So I have Packers, Vikings, Bears, Lions, which is exactly what I think it was last year.
That's what I think too.
Because the thing is, like, even though the Bears got better, they didn't get good enough to beat the Packers and the Vikings, I think. I'm still kind of skeptical about their coaching situation. And,
losing a guy like Stefanski is huge.
I understand the Vikings lost Stefanski, but like I said, I think Nick Foles is very overrated.
I mean, they also lost their entire secondary and their defensive line. Their defense is a skeleton.
I just see the Bears having a really good year this year. I don't know why. I feel like.
I mean, I've always kind of had a soft spot for the Bears, so I mean, I kind of hope you're right. Although I also have always had a soft spot for the Packers. I'm like a closeted Packers fan, but
I am too. I just am terrified of Khalil Mack.
Yeah,
that's my dream.
Like, I mean, they still have Roquan Smith, who's pretty good, and Khalil Mack. But I mean, like, I was watching them play last year, and one of their starting cornerbacks is Buster Screen. I mean, like, really?
Yeah, that's true. They
also have Prince Amukamara.
They gotta pick somebody. They gotta. If they were the side of Clowney, that would be nice for them.
I don't think they're going to, though. I see Clowney either going to the Browns.
I mean, they already have a Hicks, though.
Or going back to Seattle.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on to the NFC West. I have the Seahawks winning the division and the NFC. I have the 49ers.
No.
I have the Cardinals, and then I have the Rams.
See, I have 49ers, Seahawks, Cardinals, Rams.
I had the same thing as Danny.
All right. I think the 49ers had a it was a little bit of a fluke last year. And I think
they beat the Browns. That's all you're mad about.
No, the Seahawks beat the Browns too. So did the Cardinals, and so did the Rams.
Yeah, we played the NFC West last year, not all of them.
Dude, that is awful. No,
the entire division killed us.
I've always liked Russell Wilson. He actually he worked out. Yeah.
You know that one day he worked out?
Alright, no, never mind. But
certainly hope he did.
Yeah, he's in the
NFL. I mean, you don't understand. Basically, they had two casualties, being DeForest Buckner and Emmanuel Sanders, but DeForest Buckner, I think they're going to replace him in the draft, and they're going to replace Emmanuel Sanders probably with Henry Ruggs or Jerry Jeudy, who is ever available at that point.
Yeah, in the at the 14th pick. So that was huge. That 14th pick is huge for them. It's who they take. I don't want them to blow it, but at the same time I do because I just don't like them. I hate Nick Bosa.
I do too.
He's my least favorite player to come out of Ohio State ever. So next up, we have the NFC South. I got Saints, Panthers, Buccaneers, Falcons.
I have Saints, Buccaneers, Falcons, Panthers.
Oh, don't do me like that, Danny.
I have Saints, Buccaneers, Panthers, Falcons.
All right, that's fair.
I'm going to come out and say this right now. The NFC South is going to be the best division in football next year.
I will give it. Yes.
They are going to be.
Because
the only reason the Panthers ranked at the bottom is because they had to face Drew Brees and the Saints and Tom Brady and the Buccaneers twice per year. The Falcons and them are basically just going to fight a spot for who's not going to get last. They're both going to go, I think, 7-9 or somewhere around there.
Yeah, I think the Panthers are good enough of a team to make the playoffs.
I think whoever gets
but they're in a situation right now where their division's a little too tough, where I think they're going to be like one of the last teams to not make the playoffs.
All they got to do is just wait for Drew Brees and Tom Brady to retire, and they're the top of that division.
Yeah, Brees and Brady.
That's going to be 1 or 2 more years.
Well, I think this is Brees' last. Although he just signed a 2-year contract, didn't he?
Yeah, but you don't know. He might retire like an Andrew Luck thing.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know. I think whoever gets last in this division could definitely win the NFC East.
Yeah. Probably.
Which is funny. But let's move on to the bracket, the playoffs. So basically, what we'll do, we'll just list off the seeds we have in order, and then we'll just pronounce our Super Bowl matchup and the Super Bowl winner because it'll take a lot of time to go through the matchups. So I'll start off with the AFC. My number 1 seed, the only bye, I have the Chiefs. I don't see the Chiefs going anywhere. Their team is very, very good. Mahomes will carry them to another 1 seed. Now at the 2nd seed, I have the Titans. I think the Titans are going to have a very good year this year, especially after a huge trade for them was the DeAndre Hopkins trade. And, I think the Titans will win the AFC South. Moving to the 3 seed, I have the Browns. I think the Browns are going to have a breakout year, and I think they will win the AFC North. And then moving on to the AFC East, I have the 4 seed, the Bills. This is kind of a no-brainer here. I don't think the Patriots will win the division. I think it's the Bills' time to shine and Josh Allen. Then the 5 seed, I have the runner-up in the AFC East. I have the Patriots. I don't think the Patriots are gonna miss the playoffs. I think Bill Belichick is still a great coach. I think he'll win Coach of the Year. I just don't think he'll I just don't think they'll be as good as the Bills. In 6th place, I have the Ravens. I still think Lamar is going to be good. I just think he's going to have an off year, and I think that defense, after getting a guy like Calais Campbell, won't go anywhere as well. Then 7th, I have the Broncos. I have my guy Drew Lock there. They also have Melvin Gordon, a big pickup for them, and then a guy like Bradley Chubb on the defensive line, who I think will have a breakout year. All right, now you, Danny.
We have the Chiefs being the number 1 seed in the AFC, Titans being the number 2, Bills being the number 3, Browns being the number 4, Ravens being the number 5, Broncos being the 6, and then we're going to have the Chargers be, not the Chargers, where was it? And then, give me a second here. Oh, never mind, it was, and then the Chargers being the 7.
All right, Brandon.
So, all 3 of us picked the Chiefs to win the AFC this year, because I think it's pretty obvious it's going to happen. I have the Ravens at the number 2 seed. Again, I think that they're going to pick up right where they left off, and just go for it. I don't think they'll be as dominant in their division as they were last year, but they're still going to be a pretty freaking good team. 3, I have the Colts, who I said were going to win the AFC South as kind of a dark horse pick. 4, I have the Bills, just because I think they're going to be about the same as last year, even with Stephon Diggs. But they're going to win their division just because they're in the AFC East, where they're basically the only playoff contending team right now, even though I did say that the Patriots would have a decent season. 5, I have the Titans. 6, I have the Browns. And 7, even though we have been trashing Houston this whole time, I still think they will sneak into the playoffs.
Yeah, this 7th seed thing's going to change everything, and I'm really excited to see what it does.
See, the thing about the 7th seed is I think that the 7th seed is good for the NFC, just because I think that the NFC has more playoff caliber teams than the AFC does.
Yeah.
I'm guessing the 7th seed is going to be taken out first round in the AFC.
Probably.
I think I think in the NFC, like my picks, you know what? Let me get to it. So first, number 1 seed, I had the Seahawks. Like I said, Russell Wilson isn't going anywhere. They're right back at it. Chris Carson in the backfield. DK Metcalf, he'll be right back at it where he left off. Probably one of the best receivers in the league. Then on the defensive side, Bobby Wagner. A very, very good defense. And then in the 2nd seed, I have the New Orleans Saints. I think Drew Brees is going to have the best year and possibly of his career. Maybe not of his career, but in the past 5 years of his career. 3 seed, I have the Chicago Bears. Khalil Mack's going to play really well. I think Mitchell Trubisky is going to play better and good enough to be a Jimmy Garoppolo type player. Number 4, I have the Eagles. Eagles are going to be bad. If divisions didn't clinch it, they would not even be in my playoffs. But division wins do clinch the playoffs. So I'm putting the Eagles at number 4. Number 5, I have the Panthers. I think that they are they're my dark horse. I love the Panthers. I'm really excited to see what they can do next year with Christian McCaffrey, Teddy Bridgewater, that team's going to be very good next year. Then I have the Packers. Aaron Rodgers is going to have a decent year, but I don't think that it'll be good enough to go anywhere in the playoffs. And then lastly, the 7th seed, I have the Buccaneers. And like I said earlier, I think the Saints against the Buccaneers will be a very, very good matchup. I don't think Tom Brady will miss the playoffs, and I think that he'll continue his streak.
So you think 3 NFC South teams are going to make the playoffs?
I do. I think the 7th seed brings a lot more into play. Kind of like you see that in the NBA, where the one year in the Western Conference, the 8 teams, 5 seeds were the. I think this was the year this was the year LeBron's first year back in Cleveland, and 5 teams were in the I forget which conference it was. It was the conference with the Spurs, the Mavericks, the Rockets.
I mean, yeah, but divisions in basketball are a lot different than divisions in football, because divisions in basketball don't actually mean anything.
That is true, but I just think that this NFC South team is the best we've seen in all. NFC South division is one of the best divisions we've seen in a long time.
No, I definitely agree.
Yeah. All right, so Danny?
Okay. I'm going to go with the Super Bowl champions of the next season, Saints.
All right.
Then I'm going to go, number 2 is going to be Packers. 3 is going to be 49ers. 5 is going to be Cowboys. 6 is going to be Buccaneers. And 7 is going to be the Cardinals.
The Cardinals.
All right,
okay.
Good pick.
I respect that.
Yeah.
I disagree, but I respect that. I have the same team who won the AFC last year, winning it again this year, and the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, Yeah, they lost a couple pieces on defense, but I mean, the Niners, they're a machine. They're just going to reload and do the same thing all over again next year. Number 2, I have the Saints, just because I think they're going to have a stronger season, especially playing in a tougher division this year. 3, I have the Packers, and 4, I have the Cowboys, who are basically winning the NFC East because they're the only halfway decent team in that division. 5, I have Tampa Bay. I think Tom Brady is really going to help out that team because I really think that even though Jameis Winston I do have a soft spot for, quarterback was really the only thing that team needed to be a playoff team. 6, I have the Seahawks, which may seem a little low, but that just proves how good the NFC is going to be next year. And 7, I have my Super Bowl dark horse, the Minnesota Vikings.
All right. So let's do our Super Bowl matchup. I'll start this off.
Wait, before we do that, can I talk about something?
Yeah.
I'd like to talk about the Cardinals for a second. I feel like we've heard this story before. A second-year quarterback out of Oklahoma, with a wide receiver that's been there before, a new big star wide receiver coming in, and a star linebacker / defensive end who made the Pro Bowl. I don't know where I've heard that story before, but it just feels super familiar.
Yeah, the only difference between the Cardinal story of next year and the Browns story of last year is that the Cardinals actually have, a coach who isn't completely brain dead.
That's really different.
Which means that they probably will make the playoffs.
All right. So we'll move on to the Super Bowl. I'll start off. I have the Chiefs and the Seahawks, and this time I do have the Seahawks. I think this is great on Patrick Mahomes' resume. I do think Patrick Mahomes will be the GOAT. Towards the end of his career. I think in 2 years, I think he will win another Super Bowl. Either this year or next year. And I love Patrick Mahomes. I wish the best for him. But I do think the Seahawks, Wilson will get his second Super Bowl ring. All right, Danny?
I think the Super Bowl matchup is going to be Saints, Chiefs, with the Vikings having a major drop-off from the Minneapolis Miracle and Stephon Diggs being gone. They lost their they lost all their corners, almost lost their safety, Anthony Harris, lost Everson Griffin, and Lynn Manuel Joseph. Their defense is destroyed. Their wide receiver core is destroyed. And Kirk Cousins is not that good under the spotlight. So I think the Saints have a really good chance of making it this year. I think they can beat the Packers, and I think the Vikings won't be a problem for them anymore. And then I have the Chiefs. They're just gonna wreck again. It's the Chiefs. They're the new Patriots. I mean, you can't argue with that.
All right. So you have the Saints winning it?
Yeah, the Saints winning it all.
All right, Brendan.
All right, so you guys both said the Chiefs, and I do agree with you on that, but I'm going to say something a little different just for make it a little more interesting. I'm going to say the team that almost made it last year in the Tennessee Titans. I understand that it won't be as much of a Cinderella run as it was last year, but I mean, I understand that the Chiefs are the Chiefs, but the Titans, I mean, they were up pretty good by that second half. So I think that Tannehill is going to have a much better season this year than he did last year because he's going to be more familiar with the system. This was a lot of people forget. I believe that this was his first playoff appearance, wasn't it? Because he was with Miami his whole career.
But he made to the when I was in 6th grade. So what was that?
That'd have been my 8th grade year.
Yeah.
So that'd be 2017.
Yeah. So they made it, but he got hurt.
So he never played in a playoff game before.
He never played. Yeah.
So he's going to be more familiar with the playoff. He's going to be more comfortable with it. Derrick Henry is going to be Derrick Henry, and I think he's going to be pretty mad that he got franchise tagged because, let's face it, he deserved the contract over Ryan Tannehill. They're going to come back with a vengeance, and you know what? Screw it. They're going to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I do agree with Danny's pick of the Saints making the Super Bowl. I think that this is Breeze's last year in the NFL, and he wants to make it a good one. So I'm going to take the Saints over the Titans in Super Bowl 55.
That would be awesome if he won the Super Bowl and then retired.
Just like Peyton Manning did.
Yeah, that would be awesome. All right, so thanks guys for being here.
Wait, before we go,
All right.
who do you think the worst team in the league, number one overall pick team is going to be?
Oh, okay.
Jets. I got the Jets.
I got one, the Lions.
Okay.
You see, the thing about the Lions, they're always bad, but they're never bad enough to get the number one overall
Yeah.
pick.
They were 0-16 one year.
But I'm going to
To get
go...
Matthew Stafford.
Who am I going to go? I'm going to go with the Jets.
All right.
Two Jets.
Jets are a solid pick. They got nothing going for them. Like I said, I think they're going to pick a wide receiver in the draft and then just try to build their team around their future quarterback and Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence next year. All right, so guys, thanks for joining me, guys.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it was fun talking. Yeah, well, thank you for watching. This is episode number 3. This was a bit of a long episode. We're about over an hour and 10 minutes in. So,
Nice.
yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later.